Okay, hello everybody. I have been working on a video this week and I thought it was just going to be a day to make, and it's turned into 3 days now and it's still not quite done. It involves some painting and we've had some kind of damp weather and it's kind of cold, and the primer is just not drying as fast as I want it to. So it's kind of a long video. There's lots of stuff in it. But I won't be able to post it for at least another day or so. So in the meantime, I still wanted to post something, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to ask the community a few questions. So this week, there's a lot more of you guys than there were last week, which is totally awesome. Sometimes I can't imagine why anybody would want to spend their time watching me mess around with this stuff. But anyway, the channel's growing, and so there's a lot of people who have been commenting, and it just occurred to me that there's a lot of knowledge out there, and I do have these questions kind of kicking around in my mind, and I thought, well, I'll just put that forward to you guys. So let me do that, and that'll make a nice video, and we'll get back probably tomorrow or the next day with the major video that I've been working on this week. So okay, here we go. So first question is, I have this old tool bin, and it's got these little tin labels on them. And there are lots of pieces of furniture, industrial furniture around the factory that have that kind of thing going on. And so I'm wondering if this was original to the factory or not. But my question is, what is this tin called? If I was gonna try to find some of that like on Amazon or you know, at Home Depot or something, is it just tin? Is it sheet tin? Is it steel? I'm not sure what that is. So it's basically just a piece of flat metal that they folded, and you can slide in labels and stuff. But I'm not curious about that for this piece. I'm curious about it for something that's down here. And so if you'll just come along with me here for a quick second. Here's some industrial machinist style cabinets. And both of them have this folded tin metal on them for the handles, for the pull-out handles. And I really like it because it's industrial. It's not decorative. It's awesome for industrial furniture. And obviously they've taken a flat piece of metal and cut it in a particular shape, and then they folded it. And they've made these drawer pulls out of them. And the thing is that I think that they're both original to the factory because they're made in the exact same way. So my question is that a thing? I mean, or is this something that was probably done in-house here at the factory and these are original to the building? I'm just looking for clues about it. So this particular one is missing some drawers, and I'm soon gonna have a thickness planer and the tools to kind of replace those. And I'm gonna do my best to make it blend with the rest of the cabinet there. And it requires more of that metal. If you'll notice, here's some more folded steel or folded tin pieces that'll hold the labels in. And so I wanna figure out how I can kind of recreate this and recreate that. So if you know what that's called, and I'm guessing that, did they just make their own little jig to bend it? Or did they have a dedicated, like a metal brake for forming those? I think in my case, I'm gonna be trying to do it on myself, not investing in a metal brake, that's for sure. But just out of curiosity, so. Okay, so that's my first question. Okay, so number two is about a tool that I found in the factory that I thought was gonna be the answer to a lot of my questions. And here it is actually hanging from a pipe there. This is it's called a wheeler cutter, and it's hydraulic. And you see that chain, those chain have these like bladed teeth in them, and you wrap them around an iron pipe, and then you pump this hydraulic pump, and those teeth burn into cut into the iron pipe, and then it breaks. Usually like breaks off jagged. It doesn't make a perfect cut, but it's just made for popping them off. And when I found it, I was really stoked because there's so much metal conduit in here that I'm trying to get out. And this hydraulic hose was damaged, so I replaced it. And I thought, oh man, I'm gonna be cooking with Crisco now. But I have like pumped and pumped and pumped, and I think I've kind of reached the maximum, and that iron pipe did not break. So I actually cut, see how it ends, I cut that. And then when there was a little left, it broke off. But that did not end up going through that iron pipe. So question is this pipe cutter not working? Am I doing it wrong? Or is that iron pipe just too heavy gauge? So, I mean, that's thick steel. It's probably, I don't know, at least 1/8 inch thick, probably. Yeah, I think it's probably 1/8 inch. It is by no means like as heavy duty as like this old iron sewage pipe here. I think that's what that is. So that, I mean, I'd be hopeless trying to get that broken. I don't know. That might be brittle and crack way easier than this iron or steel. I think that's steel and that's iron. Not sure. As you can see, like the building is full of that stuff, and it is super heavy duty. And it's not needed. It's never going to be used again. I want to get it out of here. And the weight of this stuff will add up so super quick for scrapping and funding my dumpsters that I have to figure out a way to kind of seize on that opportunity. So let me know what's going on with that that tool. And yeah. Okay, question number 3 coming up. Okay, so we're back up all the way on the 3rd floor. And yeah, that side is pretty good. This side's still got a long way to go. What I really want to know is what the heck am I looking at? So check out the patina on this box, by the way. That is some major copper there. I would never pull that copper out. I'll say that right from the beginning. This thing is, I think, has a lot of decorative appeal. There's another box up there. Sorry, I'm breathing heavy. I just ran up the stairs. I have 2 uncles. One retired from Caterpillar and the other is an electrical engineer. And they were saying that a lot of old factories don't want to spend the money to retrofit everything and modernize. And so this could be very interesting to those folks. For me, I just think it is like super sculptural. So I'm thinking about pulling it down and doing something with it just for the the sculptural aesthetic appeal of it. It's like super industrial, and it's, it's got a door. Maybe it could be some kind of a cabinet or something, but yeah. And there's this thing, which is less of like a decorative appeal. So that's like a major piece of equipment too. So what is this and what is that? That's my next question. Okay, so we're out back. These 2 concrete, I don't know what you'd call them, concrete blocks, I guess. And these pylon bases, there was a giant water tower here, and it had been torn down. And at some point, I want to put some wood boxes on top of all of them, and then put some flowers or bushes or something in them. So, but the question I have is that there are some pretty amazing things in here. This was the, I guess, the pump house. And I've already taken a cutting torch and freed up these 2 columns. I want to pull those out. I think side by side they'd be great to like clean up and use as like a base for like a bust, like a antique bust or something set on top. But that thing really interests me. Let's see if I can get it in focus. That thing really interests me. And there's a matching one. Where's my finger at? Right there. There's a matching one right there. And I took the cutting torch, and that is like super, super heavy iron, steel. And my question is, actually, I don't know if the wind is in the microphone. So now that I've showed you that, I'm gonna go inside to ask you the question. Okay, so I don't know if it was, but it's pretty windy out there. And there's nothing worse than wind blowing in the microphone. So, yeah, so that's like super, super heavy gauge stuff. And the bolts are like that big around on it. And I started to cut it with a cutting torch, and it was like going kind of slow. I think I could eventually get through that material and get that, like, you know, severed all the way around. My question is, if I do that, what's inside there? Somebody told me there's like a brass valve, a gigantic brass valve inside. But my question is, if I can kind of cut it around the circumference, is it going to pull off, or is that valve going to stop that from pulling off, and then there's really no way to cut that off? Because if I can't do it, I'm just going to go ahead and box up the top of those concrete blocks and then do decorative stuff there. Sorry, it's getting a little bit dark. Better stop. So yeah, the question is, once I cut around there, can I pull that off? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Okay, so back outside. Even though there are more serious kind of issues inside the building, I do want to kind of dress up the front to make the building look a little better on the outside. So I put in some temporary window sills, and I'm going to be pulling all of these off and making quality window sills here, and fix the mortar so that they're all squared away and waterproof the bottom edges of all of that. It's a slow process, but over time, it's getting better and better out here. So, okay, so next question. I love those gas station, or those porcelain enamel lights, the Benjamin style shades up there. We have this overhead door and a ramp down here. Just on the other side of this door is a fork truck that's basically buried in trash. The fork truck actually will run, just barely, but it's going in the auction. The question I have is, we have this concrete. It's all the way around from here, around the side of the building, and the white paint is chipping off because paint doesn't hold the concrete very well. If I come out here with an angle grinder and wire brush and clean that up and paint those posts, I'd like to make the concrete behind also freshened up with white paint. My question is, what should I use? What kind of paint should I use that'll actually hold on to that concrete? And how should I treat the concrete before I paint it? I'm not talking about weatherizing. I'm just mean, how can I get the paint to adhere to concrete? Because at one point I had painted some concrete at my dad's house. Rain came and this stuff just kind of fell off. And it was supposed to be deck and brick paint or something, and it just did not work. This is all chipped out, but I like it. It's got some character. Question: what do I need to do to get nice fresh white paint to adhere to this cement? Okay, so this question is not exactly about the factory, but it is connected. So I have these gigantic pieces of Apothecary furniture. They came from a local drugstore a few towns away. And this is about 10 feet long, I think. No, maybe 12 feet long. And it has 64 drawers in it. It has a top section here and a top section here. And I have two over there. And I'm gonna be refinishing those. I'll be making a video hopefully within a month or two about getting these back into good shape. So I do have a question. So these have windows in them, and then so do these. But I've taken those out because I didn't want them to get broken, and I stacked them up down there. But these sections, once they're cleaned off, will sit up on there. And they're really big, giant, imposing statement pieces. And I did have a question. So the glass in the windows is that old wavy leaded glass. And they're all in perfect condition except for one. It has a crack and a small piece missing. Looking at the actual window frame, I can see that that's not something I could replace myself. So yeah, it seems like the actual frame of the window would have to come apart, and yeah, I'm not looking for that kind of fight. So questions are, can you still purchase large sheets of that wavy leaded glass? Do they still kind of make that for restoring vintage stuff? And the second is, I guess I just don't know about finding a craftsman that can, get that installed without destroying it. So any advice that you guys have for me on that would be greatly appreciated. This question may seem a little bit silly, but yeah, it's something I am concerned about. I've got hundreds of porcelain toilets, and those fill up a dumpster quick. And if there's another solution for these, other than paying for very expensive dumpsters, I would like to keep them out of a landfill, though they probably wouldn't hurt the environment at all because they're just porcelain. Can those be given to somebody for landfill or something? I mean, look at this table. There's probably 50 toilet tank plates there, the covers. And they're all over the factory, so any ideas about what I should be doing with those? Okay. Anyway, thanks guys. Looking forward to seeing what your comments are. And in the next day or two, I'll be posting that video that I've been working all week on. So thanks for coming along, and see you again soon.